Welcome to Missed Opportunities for Good, the podcast where we open up the space to have conversations about trends and campaigns at the intersection of marketing, advertising, and impact.
Hi, I'm Alana Ficalora.
Hey, I'm Steph Belsky.
We're social impact strategists, colleagues, and friends who are on a mission to revolutionize the industry we love.
Listen, today there's a lot of virtue signaling, greenwashing, cause washing, or a company saying nothing out of fear of getting it wrong.
Whether it's a moment or a movement, it still has to be real. It has to be authentic and aligned with the brand, not just performative. It's about the action being taken that goes along with the messaging.
So we're here to highlight who's doing it well, what could be better, and how companies can stop leaving money and the potential for real social change on the table.
Our guest today on Creative Conversations is Kimberly Gilroy. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Before we get into introducing you, we wanted to ask you, why do you do what you do without saying what you do?
Why do I do what I do? I would say I believe that change or impact, I guess in this case, occurs on an individual level first and then kind of has the ripple effects. It kind of leans into that be the change you want to see mentality. So making it my responsibility to then use my tools and make my decisions and influence to kind of create that world. So I do that through, just kind of everyday life decisions that come about.
Love that.
Amazing. So now, thank you for sharing that, Kimberly. And now we'll actually share what it is that you do. So Kimberly Gilroy is the co-founder and creative lead at Alfa, where she drives the vision and execution of creative projects. A native New Yorker, whoop, whoop, she holds a BA in public relations, journalism, and art from Salisbury University with additional studies in Italy. Can't wait to hear all about that. Her design career began in New York, working with brands like Honda, Ralph Lauren, and Qualcomm. Now based in Southern California, Kimberly is active in San Diego's creative community and supports environmental causes through 1% for the planet. Yes.
We love 1% for the planet.
Yes.
Love it all.
Great network. Yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to have this conversation with you ladies today.
Yes. Let's get to know you a bit better.
So the first question that we ask all of our guests is, what first drew you to doing impact work?
I think volunteerism has always been part of me since a young age, but it really happened more through COVID, just that downtime and doing some soul searching with business, especially. My business partner and I, Ariva, had kind of, in the downtime, had done a lot of camping, had been outdoors a lot, and just started to realize that what was happening with COVID and how you were starting to see like the Venice canals clear up, or in India, you could start to see the Himalayas, this impact that we as individuals have on the environment. And that led us to getting involved with 1% for the planet, kind of just started to steer that direction for us and understanding that we have the power through design to use it as a tool to then make it change, and working and aligning ourselves with businesses who are in that sector became more of a passion and desire for us. So it kind of led our direction of where we were taking our business and who we wanted to work with as we were coming out of COVID. And I think it just hit a little bit close to home, and going back to the first question of why, it's like as individuals, we can make the choice of who we're working with and who we want to work with. And just aligning those two together was like, okay, this is using our experience and our, like I said, our tool through design to make that change was kind of what started to bring it about. So that's weird. Good old COVID. This was the pivoting point for us.
But now wait, but your agency has been around for longer than 2020, right?
Yes. Yep. So we started in 2017. And when we first started, we worked a lot with like solo entrepreneurs, which was great. Again, we were solo entrepreneurs, so we fit that space and aligned with them well. And I think when you can relate to who you're working with, better work and better quality work comes out of it. So as we grew and as we shifted, it's like you just want to be passionate about what you're creating. And when it's making change, it kind of just all comes together. And you're like, oh, I feel good about doing this project and who we're working with. So it's kind of evolved over the time. And we've just sunk into more of the business for good space, in particular environmental, and then a lot of women's causes is what we're been doing more of and aiming more for too as we continue.
Amazing. That was literally going to be the next thing I was going to ask you. What issue areas you're most passionate about, which I was going to figure was going to sound environmental, given all the outdoors experiences during COVID. Is there anything deeper that you want to share about those, or is that something we'll get into in a bit?
Sure. I think definitely environmental. I think women-centered causes has become huge. Riva just had a baby in February. I've been on my own fertility journey. So I think women's health is so pivotal at this time that it's kind of like, okay, we got to use our voice behind it too. And what can we do to help drive that attention to that space? So that's become important for us to get more involved with as well. And we actually just launched a creative grant. It's called Womankind, and it's open to anyone in the women's health space, so they can apply and we'll choose someone and they'll get like a 3-month partnership with us so we can do branding with them, strategy, and kind of guide them through some creative. So it's that area as well has just kind of been rising in importance and passion.
That's so awesome.
To toot this horn a little bit louder, it's a whole comprehensive brand identity package. It's not just like you're giving so much, 3 months worth of design services to women's health innovators. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. And how long do people have to apply? When's the deadline?
So up until December 1st, but we're going to hopefully be rolling this out over time. So there'll be new windows of opportunity for people down in the future. Great. Yeah, we're excited. I think it's just kind of bridges this gap that's out there from accessibility to and what people can and cannot do. So.
Yeah. And there's so much growth happening in that space as well with women's health and these new companies popping up. In any company, especially within women's health, but women-founded companies, especially when it comes to healthcare, have a harder time getting VC money, have a harder time getting funding, all of that. So it's such a cool opportunity to be able to offer just support as they grow and need that support in building out their brand and visibility.
So hopefully it will lead to some good things.
We'll be sure to include the link in the show notes as well.
And we can't wait to see the work that comes out of it too. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're excited.
So our next question, which I think kind of segues nicely into all of this, is what's an impactful project you've worked on, either recently or in general, that you've been really proud of?
We have been working with a nonprofit called Rewriting the Code for the last couple of years. They support women in tech through education, career advancement, and just creating a peer-to-peer network of people. So what they found was a lot of women would go into college to study engineering or computer science and would drop out because they'd find themselves being one, maybe two women in a class and being surrounded by all men. So what Rewriting the Code did was create this network of other women in the field or in the study to make connections, to kind of be like, hey, you're not alone in this. We're going through this together. And we helped rebrand them. We did a full refresh, rebrand. And since then, we took them through strategy. They have multiple sub-brands, and they've grown to launch new global networks in the UK and Ireland. They're now in Canada. So it's been a kind of a global impact that they're having. And some of the stats that they have are just crazy, of the number of people who are used to drop out but are now riding through and sticking through, graduating with these degrees. And it's pretty cool. They do some fun work. But we got to do their rebrand, which is just fun in general. And it's I think mostly women team over there. So they're all talking the talk and doing the stuff. So it's been great. Yeah, we did a full rebrand strategy session with them, and then it's just been ongoing stuff, adjusting, meeting the needs of Gen Z and switching their marketing material. So it's cool to see them at the forefront too of that audience. They tap into very diverse audience too. They have different sub brands called like Black Wings or Tech Natives too. So they're really making sure that they're fully inclusive, and to just be part of it has been enjoyable to just be part of it.
Yeah. I mean, from the branding perspective, when I saw that work on your site and it was like, oh yeah, this lends itself, the architecture lends itself so well to sub brands.
Yes.
I was like, chef's kiss, like just gorgeous branding work.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's very, very fun to see. And it's so cool to know that you gave them such a strong foundation to now be an international presence. Like, gosh, that's got to feel incredible.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool when they came about and they were like, okay, we're ready to brand the UK. We were like, wait, that's cool. Like what? And then to see how it morphs and how it works together, and just doing the strategy behind, okay, well, if you're in the UK now, what happens if you keep growing? How is this going to fit and work together? So it becomes a puzzle piece, but a fun strategy too to think about.
Yeah.
I love it.
Such a great nonprofit to be able to highlight as well. I was doing some work looking at the back end, researching the issues facing women of color in tech, and there is such a need. So it sounds like they're filling a really big white space.
Yeah, they do some pretty cool things, and they have main pockets in like certain cities. They're like Seattle and New York, where San Francisco, where they have like individual events, things like that too, that are city based. So they've got a nice footprint, but it's for anyone. It's any woman in tech. We're all in tech essentially. Like every company these days is a tech company. So whether you're a project manager or you're the actual engineer, they make it available to everyone, and it's free for members to join too, which is even
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, if you're not already in tech, you're going to be soon.
You are now.
Yeah. It's so
We've got people for you.
And that's so great because it sets them up for the future, right? Mm-hmm. And the branding is so cool and relevant and young and hip and welcoming in that sense. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. They're doing some cool things.
Yeah. It's always nice too when you know that your work is going somewhere meaningful. And so being able to work with clients like that, just you can feel even like, obviously you're always proud of your design work that you're doing, but to be doing it when it has an impact and knowing that an organization stands for something really important and things like that, you just have that warm fuzzy feeling, I feel like, all the time. So I think that's great.
Yeah. It's like, it's making a difference, but also even coming back to us and being like, okay, we need to shift a little bit, because as the generations and their audience changes, because they're predominantly college students, early career women, and like now it's Gen Z, and it's like, okay, we need to learn how to market to them. So they keep us as well in tune with what's changing, what's happening, and trends going on, and that in itself is just something we get to learn along the way and be involved in.
It's a great bonus.
So the warm and fuzzies are what keep you going, right? In this line of work. But what's the biggest challenge that you're facing right now?
Right now, and I think it's just always been, and I would say educating people on the value of design. I think we see a lot of times that branding and marketing budgets get cut first by companies. With the rise of Pinterest, became like the DIY movement. And now you're seeing Canva, which is a great tool, but everyone thinks they can now be designers. And then we also have the rise of AI. So I think it's really educating people that, sure, you could put words in a picture on a graphic, but there's also more to design than just that. So educating people really on the value of it.
Yeah. Having a cohesive brand is so important, especially as in the case of that nonprofit, you expand globally, but anywhere for brand recognition and not just looking like you threw a bunch of things up
Right.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Like
And it's
often
like you
people can with
start,
Canva.
yep. And then you start to see people use the same templates. Like it's easy to scroll on social and be like, oh, I've seen that template used already, or the fonts are all the same. So everything's
Yep.
got this sameness to it. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe
Yep.
it's a trend, but trends are
Cookie
turning,
cutter.
yep, so fast right now. And it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, you need to stand out as well in this market, and differentiating yourself is how you can do that through messaging, through your design, how your colors, your fonts, how you're showing up. But yeah, finding
Yeah.
that uniqueness.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Getting that in
something,
oversaturated market's important.
Mm-hmm.
right. And something that I really think makes Alpha Charlie stand out to Kimberly is how you all, like, you're telling the story, right? It's not just a logo, it's not just a color palette. It's how can we embody the story of the organizations, of the clients that you all serve, and having that ethos it shows. It shows in the work that you do. So
Thank you.
kudos.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's more than just the visual, right?
Yeah,
It's so much
Yeah.
deeper.
1000%. Yeah.
It's like the personality of the brand. Yeah.
And it shows through the work.
Thank you.
Before we jump into the campaign that you brought, we're going to quickly review our criteria for you and our listeners. The first criteria we look at is alignment,
We also look at partnerships,
call to action and transparency,
engagement.
and optimization and amplification.
So, on that note, Kimberly, what campaigns are you seeing that are doing it well? And would you mind giving us a quick summary of the creative that you brought for us today?
Sure. I think there's a lot of good campaigns out there, but as we're also starting to see people pull back, whether it's the marketing spend or just kind of shying away from making bold statements, I really leaned into Elf Cosmetics, which is the eyes, lips, face brand. And they, this year in 2024, actually increased their spending 25% of their net sales. So again, while other people are pulling back, they've kind of gone all in, which I think it's been pretty cool to see. And they've gone with some really bold campaigns. One in particular is their Changing the Board campaign, which has a few parts to it, but I brought that Serving the Facts with Billie Jean King. And they did a short 30-second spot, which is cool. And it's a video of a boardroom. And it's predominantly men sitting around this table. I think there's one woman in it. And then it's surrounded by glass walls. And on the outside is Billie Jean King sitting on I want to say it's like the line judge chair for tennis.
Yes.
Right? And she's
So
just slamming tennis balls at the glass windows. And each tennis ball has a different fact on it. One of them being like women make up 27% of US corporate boards. And she's just hitting them with stats. And what I love about it is at the end, it has nothing to do with makeup, right? Like, and that's the brand. And at the end, they put the Elf logo up there, and their call to action is to go to changetheboard.com. So you're like, okay, why does this work? What's happening here? So I think it piques interest, but what they're essentially doing is calling attention to US business leaders in the wider community to put more women on and diverse candidates on corporate boards. And the whole video itself kind of kicks it off. It's bold. I think it gets women behind it. It gets you curious. And it's factual too, which I think is cool. They have a second part. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. They have a second part of the series too. So when you actually get to their website, there's more details and more information about this Change the Board idea. And with it, it filters into a second portion of the campaign, which is, called So Many Dicks. And they lean into their findings that there are nearly as many men named Richard, Rick, or Dick on corporate boards as there are diverse women. So it's just so bold and it's just so straightforward, and you can't ignore it in a way. And they posted that campaign down in the financial district at New York City, which we all know is predominantly men too.
Yep.
So I think they've just done, while other people are shying away, I feel like they just stepped up at a time where it's quiet. Everyone else is being quiet, so their voice is now going to be heard. They're going to stick out, kind of goes into stepping away from the sameness and being different. There's so many aspects of it that I loved, and I know they've seen a return on their investment too with it, which is always nice to hear.
100%. I feel like their growth has been insane in the last year. I forget what the exact statistics are, but I remember reading about a huge increase in sales since they had been launching all these campaigns, and also stepping into a conversation, to your point, in DEI that most brands have stepped away from and pulled out their heads of DEI, their whole DEI programs, all of that. There's been such a pullback. I was literally having a conversation with somebody about that yesterday, and yet they've gone full force in that direction of saying, no, inclusion is important, diversity is important. We need more women. We need more diversity across the board. And I love that so much for them.
Yeah, and they're kind of
in
saying,
a cheeky way.
Yep. Yeah. And then they're kind of saying like, hey, you can't claim or be for DEI and then not continue it, right? Just when it's popular and everyone's doing it isn't, it's important, but it's important to continue it too beyond that. And I think that's what they're doing a great job with. I also think they're leaning fully into who they are. So they're also one of only 4, I believe, publicly traded U.S. companies out of like over 4,000 that have a board made up of 2/3 women and 1/3 that's diverse. So they're also like, they're owning what they're saying. Yeah. So I think that in itself kind of makes it even more impactful. So they're not pointing fingers, but they're like, hey, this is us.
Yeah. And we could do it. So can you.
So, yeah.
Be the light, show the example of what's possible for others. And actually, I'm so thrilled that you brought this campaign today, Kimberly, because for our listeners, we actually have a conversation. Alana and I talked about this on our 21st episode. So we'll have the link so that everyone can go, and after you listen to this episode, you can go and listen to episode 21 and compare how our analysis went.
And I know earlier to that point too, I know we were talking about Dove and how Alfa is kind of stepping into this Dove realm of really standing behind their words and having a campaign that has longevity and continues. And it's interesting when you go to the Changing the Board site, not only does it share these spots and the statistics, but they've even put out their own white paper. So they're also similar to Dove doing that back end research and sharing that publicly to show the statistics and give as if we needed more proof, but giving proof yet again.
Yes. And also, you had mentioned something about partnership. I know they've partnered with the National Association of Corporate Boards, the NACD, to create an accelerator program where women can apply and get training on how to, like, what it means to be on a board, how to serve on a board, and also give them visibility as well. So I think, they're also creating that opportunity. It's not like, hey, just buy my makeup. It's, we need to create change, and we're going to create a pathway for that to happen as well.
And a tangible call to action, right? It's always so critical to any of these campaigns because, again, like we say, it can't be performative anymore. There needs to be some sort of action taken to show how you're supporting the community, to show how you are activating and enacting change. So just chef's kiss. So good.
I think we're seeing more people becoming more aware of who they're purchasing from. So even though like they're not a high-end brand, but they're accessible to younger teen audience, I know is their primary, but it's kind of like, hey, when you buy our product, this is also what you're supporting. And they're catering specifically to their audience. I mean, you can ruffle feathers of people on Wall Street, men on Wall Street, but that's not their audience either. So the risk there is
maybe their daughters.
But like, hopefully dad there is all for this.
Totally.
But I just think they're just taking ownership of who they completely are in all different aspects, which makes it a successful campaign.
Yeah, and even for that younger audience, showing them pathway that it is possible to serve on these boards and that
Hmm.
also this is how you can get there. There are these aspirations that you can have and follow and, the learning piece on the other side of it. It's interesting. We also talk a lot about, to your point about the board and their partnership with NACD, we talk a lot about partnerships and opportunities for employees to engage in the issue areas that brands are putting forward. And it's cool to see that not only did they partner with a National Association of Corporate Directors, but they also had many people from their own board participate in the accelerator program.
Yeah.
So they're putting these people forward to help support that next generation or that, help people get on boards. And there's, a huge number of people listed on there that had gotten involved and were sponsoring to get people boardroom ready. So it's cool to see that they're tying that into their internal programs as well as externally facing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know it ties back into my why, but I think it goes back to that, like it starts at the individual and you get one woman on
Yeah.
there and it just ripples and it has that positive effect. And I think this is a great example of it.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited to see how they continue this campaign. If it needs to have legs to continue as part of this or how it evolves
How
as
it
they're able
evolves.
to get people on boards and help support that conversation, where it goes from here.
Yeah,
is so many dicks the equivalent of their Dove Real Beauty?
right,
Like
Yeah.
right.
or or is it, yeah, like how are they going to package that from a branding perspective?
Yeah,
Because
and that one
it's
too is predominantly just out of home marketing. So people aren't seeing it really unless you're in New York. I think it's a little bit on
Hmm.
social, but the impact as far as commercials and whatnot isn't as big. But I mean, it's a pretty bold statement. So
Yeah, I feel like they got so much earned media from that. I'm sure they did some paid media, but definitely a lot of earned media because it
yeah.
was so in your face. I
yeah,
remember seeing it popping up everywhere and thinking,
you're like, wait,
this
what
is
is
genius.
this?
And also being able to, and I feel like there's been some, you've seen like the stats in the past about that, but being able to leverage that in pop culture in a way where you don't see dicks in advertising very often, right? Like they're kind
Right.
of reclaiming that term as well.
Yes. Yeah. And it just, I mean, they're using it pretty much as a name too. So it's like, hey, Richard, but yeah, they've
Yeah.
used it in just a
It's
very
so
creative
brilliant.
way to make
Yeah.
Yeah.
a great statement. Yeah, there's a lot of parts to it that I think they've done well to kind of create some ownership in the market.
Even the what the elf. It's great. It's very clever. I'm sure this creative team has a lot to be proud of and must be a
Yeah, they
fun
worked
room to
with
sit in as they brainstorm.
Oberlin Agency is their
Oh, that
creative
makes
partner.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oberlin does a lot of great work as well.
yeah. I think they
So
just
do
came out.
we, I mean, are we seeing any missed opportunities for this?
I
Ooh.
remember
I was thinking
I just
about it
had a
too a lot.
flashback too. I remember last time we talked about how they should sell the tennis balls with the facts on them
Yes. Spoiler
and
alert.
like get
Oh
your
my
own,
god.
which I think would be amazing. I don't know if they have, I know they partnered with the organization, but it doesn't seem like they have, maybe it did exist and it's just not up anymore, but like an application process to
Hmm.
engage,
Hmm.
Yeah,
um,
I
to
couldn't seem
sign
to
up for
find
that
that
training or
either.
to put yourself forward. If there was a way, and this is kind of a big ask, but for them to maybe help facilitate that process of supporting people to be on boards or recommending people.
Hmm.
And that's a huge program that would take on a lot. I realize maybe not what they would need to do, but at least I don't even think there's a direct link to NACD on here. I think it's just using the name, but kind of having a more direct link for how people can apply to get that information and actually engage in that process.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
point.
it's like just a little teeny thing that could still be added.
Do any of us
Well,
sit on boards?
I've sat on a board before.
Yeah. Which one?
So I sat on the board for the One Club for Creativity.
Oh,
So they had a chapter here in San Diego, and I was on the board for
very
about five
cool.
years.
Nice.
It was great. It's a lot of work, but yeah, even then I found
Yeah.
myself in positions too where fewer women or the expectations of the women on the board were
Mm.
um, specific. It's like, who's going to do this? And all eyes would go to the women, and it's like, hey, we're not your assistants. Great ideas, but we got to work as a team to carry this stuff through. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
also that passion, the connection too. It's like, yeah, we do need more women on the board.
Yeah. It's interesting because no matter what sense you're the minority in a boardroom, right? And the type of board. I was on the PHBP board for Producers Health Plan Benefits for production. And it was primarily production company owners. And then there were only 3 freelancers. And so, in that sense, it wasn't even just being a woman, but as a freelancer, there were often times where I was like, do people care about my opinion? It seems everyone's already on all these other boards together. And so the dynamics are not totally equal in that sense. These people hire you. And so there's a little bit of a conflict. I mean, not really, but kind of. So how comfortable you feel speaking up. So even this idea of why it's not enough to just have one person on a board of any specific group, right? It's like one woman, one person of color, one whatever. If you're the only or one of very few, sometimes it feels harder to speak up and ask for things or advocate for whatever it is if you're kind of in a silo. So it is interesting the way those different pieces can show up.
Yeah, I remember when I actually joined the board for the one club. It was a big board at the time, but I was one of few who were part of a small business, small agency, where a lot of people were the bigger agencies in town. And I was like, does my voice count? Does it matter? Does it matter what we want out of this club and so on? But yeah, I mean, it's a great organization. I went on to be on it for 5 years. So
yeah.
I actually just joined the board of FYI.
What's
it's FYEYE. It's very cool. It's a PSA network that works with creatives specifically in New York around helping to leverage the creative juices in the industry in New York for relevant nonprofits and organizations. So
very cool.
Shout out to FYI and shout out to all of us for being on boards, ladies. This is what we're talking about. Lead by example.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like all the other ones I've done are nonprofit boards, and I'm on like the baby boards of them. The don't have to make the gigantic donation to have the seat, but more of the day-to-day, less operational, more of the day-to-day piece of the boards, which I love. I'm still on the board for Manifest Works, and I'm an ambassador for Green the Bid, and I love all of those things.
And we can be ambassadors in any way, shape, or form. Like, I just joined the advisory council for FYI. Nice. So technically, baby board, but also not, because
it all
like
matters.
You said, Alana, we're doing the work.
Totally. Right? And honestly, in all those steps, and I think this is also important in that conversation, because being on the boards in which Alfa is really referencing, it might feel so unattainable or far away, but having those micro experiences to lead up to something like that can also build people's confidence to be able to step into those spaces. I was on my HOA before I was on the PHVP board. All those other experiences help contribute to, you're like, okay, now this is my next step up and I'm going to go do this. And this is a great experience and I'm learning so much doing this piece, and like, what comes next? And so you can kind of step up and learn along the way as well. So
100%. And boards are run so differently too between organizations. I know there's like specifics 100%. When there's bylaws and whatnot that they have to follow, but all boards are so different too. So that exposure and experience helps at every step.
Yeah. And one last thing on the boards piece and the training piece of it. It's interesting. I was in Junior League for years, and Junior League actually has a program that they were running for both members and non-members, at least in Los Angeles. I don't know if they do it through all chapters, to train people to be on nonprofit boards. Because even though I think it's actually still majority women working in nonprofit, I'm not sure if the boards are the same. I imagine they're not, but training people who obviously were service minded because they joined Junior League to not just have leadership within Junior League, but then go off to work with these nonprofit partners. And so I actually had done this course, which was just really cool, because then I imagine NACD to something similar, but for these more corporate boards, and the importance and the value to having that kind of a training. And we basically interned on boards of nonprofits that had partnered with the league and stuff like that too. So anyways, there's opportunities out there. It's just a matter of finding them and then I think also people advocating for and helping support women and people of color to get into these spaces on the boards and then being welcomed and given that same treatment and valued opinions.
Agree.
Wow.
Well,
Any last thoughts on the spot before we wrap up?
Oh, not really. I'm just a big fan, and I think Alana, you said it. It's curious to see where they're going to take it now, moving forward, and
Yeah.
hopefully, it's not just their 2024 thing, and they can carry this through for years to come.
I have a rogue question to ask. In thinking about what you were sharing before and the launch of your program, what is your ideal client, or who would you love to be working with in the future?
Ooh, would love to get involved with someone in the femtech space. So we've seen an increase of apps designed for women, whether it's around your cycle or pregnancy or just health, mental health. Yeah, kind of getting involved with the creative behind, someone in femtech. I think like the Flow app would be an ideal project.
Yeah. Awesome.
And hopefully, hopefully we'll see more to come with that space.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, Alana, you want to wrap us up?
Yes. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for joining us today. Where can we send folks to learn more about you and your work?
Oh, first of all, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to chat with both of you. Our work is found at alfacharlie.co, and it's Alfa, ALFA. So yeah, that's where you could find us on the web. And then our Instagram handle is the same too. So those are probably the best two places to check us out.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, for joining us. Let's shine a light and learn from those who are doing it well and reduce the missed opportunities for good.
We want to hear from you. Let us know, what campaigns are you seeing that are doing it well? Who would you like to see us interview? And what campaign would you like us to audit?
Thank you so much to our listeners, to our guest for joining us on our mission to revolutionize the industry that we love.
Missed Opportunities for Good is a production of Aligned for Impact and Love of Good.